welcome back everyone, welcome back to another weekend edition here of the SCL, the StarCraft Evolution League number 14. I'm of course just VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players and the P1 chats and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different here, especially because I feel like typically we do cast this in the mornings, but here we are in the evening. Here we are with some StarCraft Evolution. This is a mod. This is not regular SC2, just bear that in mind. This is a mod that does blend together Brood War versus SC2, and it does pit them against each other here in a standard 1v1 format. Here we go. And of course there's been a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of passion put into this project, into porting over maps, porting over and adding new textures to the game, and also balancing the game as well. So a lot of work, a lot of effort. Much love to Team Kripulu, the team working behind the scenes on this mod. And this is a this is a really exciting week. I mean, it always is with StarCraft Evolution, but let's have a look at the bracket, because there is a very special player that has come out of the woodwork and suddenly signed up and showed up, and there's a lot to get into. Let's go as we search over to the bracket here. So we're going to be covering from the quarterfinals onwards. Unfortunately we don't have the replays for the upper match. I should also emphasize this is going to be a replay cast. These this tournament happened a couple of days ago. It happened on Saturday, and as you can imagine, what we're doing on Saturday, we were casting. What were we casting? We were casting the global EWC qualifier. So unfortunately, this event did clash with the global qualifier, so we could only pick one. Of course, we did prioritize the global EWC qualifier. We did cast that. It meant that we weren't able to cover this live. Typically, we try to cast this live, but there's only so much we can do. I mean, we can only cast one thing at a time, papi. So we're going to be catching up with this event via replays, and here we go. From the top, we have 3 Point versus Geralt. Unfortunately, that is the one match that we don't have the replays of, but that did conclude. 3 Point took down Geralt at 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. Scrolling down, we have Wayne. We have Wayne versus the STC. The STC is an old school player. He retired back in Heart of the Swarm. He's a Korean Terran player, but he has been dabbling in Protoss in StarCraft Evolution. It's great to see him back again. The STC retired long ago. I want to say he retired back in like 2014-ish era of StarCraft. So it's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years since we've seen the STC compete. It's been a very long time, so great to see him here once again. The STC is also casting, so he's like pulling like a pig, or pulling like maybe sometimes a Dave Tester, where he plays in a tournament, and then if he gets knocked out, he casts from there. Scrolling down, we have the man of the hour. It's summer somewhere. It's not summer here in Australia. It's actually quite cold. It is here, middle of winter, but it's summer somewhere out there, because TheStC has made his return. Oh my god, the hype is real. TheStC, of course, he did retire 5 years ago. I was actually checking, because I recall him competing in GSL recently after his military service, and I thought it was 2019, but it was 2020. So 2020 was his last year of competing, end of 2020, so just under 5 years ago was when, or just under 5 years ago is when TheStC did retire, and he's back not for StarCraft 2 but for StarCraft Evolution, and I don't know how to rate him. I don't know how to place him. Again, I'm sure there's actually people that might be watching that maybe they got introduced to StarCraft during the COVID era, right? I know there's a lot of people that started embracing StarCraft in 2019 to 2020 when COVID occurred, and they might not even know who TheStC is. They might not have context to the kind of player that TheStC is. TheStC, of course, a legend in StarCraft. He was one of the players that did compete abroad. This is back, of course, in the Kesper days, back when there was kind of like a distinction between players that were on Kesper teams competing in Korea and other players that did travel abroad instead to compete in WCS and in foreign tournaments in these big international events like IEMs and DreamHacks and Gfinities, and in all these other global tournaments. And that's who TheStC was. TheStC was one of those players that was traveling and was competing in WCS Americas, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I do recall seeing like TheStC up against like Pig Baby and Bomber, and I want to say Jadong as well. They're all in the WCS America kind of crowd of players. And yeah, he kind of rose to fame. He was, of course, a long-time champion, and he went to the military. He came back from the military again around like 2019, 2020. He returned to compete, but he wasn't anywhere near as successful. Like, definitely, he wasn't able to meet the highs that he did pre-military service. So he competed for a little bit, for like a year or so, and then did retire once again. And now, bam, 5 years later, we see TheStC once again in StarCraft. You're never really gone, man. You're never really gone. StarCraft. So I'm looking forward to see how he does perform in this tournament and where we can place him amongst the skill level of these other players. Likewise, at the very bottom we have Bratok versus Lunacy as well. I'll say currently looking at this, Bratok is the strongest Terran player in the bracket, but I don't know where to place Tasia. I don't know where to place him. Also, we'll see how he compares to Dice as well. Dice, of course, was the notorious, infamous, unknown player that did sign up under a fresh ID and did let us know that he was an ex-StarCraft player. And he actually looked really terrifying. Like, he looked really strong against Shin. I was very impressed with Dice's TVZ. Was Dice Tasia? I don't think so, just because it feels kind of weird to quote-unquote debut under a new ID, or under like an ID hiding who you are, but then revealing yourself like a week later, by actually signing up and actually competing. So it'd be kind of weird, but you know, maybe related in some way. For now though. For now, we are going to be jumping in. Up first, we're going to be jumping into our ZVP between Wayne and the STC. It is Summer Korea. There you go. There you go. Oh, share my papi, share man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my god. But here we go. We're jumping into our first series, into our first match, into a ZVP. Game 1 on Troy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. My favorite map. One of my. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Blue Storm, of course. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Troy, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Brutal Protoss. It is the STC. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Blue Zerg player. The Blue Zerg player himself. It is Wayne. Here we go. And again, Wayne, he's a player that has risen through the ranks of StarCraft Evolution quite quickly. Unlike some of these other players, Wayne, he's a bit of a newer addition to the pro scene in StarCraft Evolution. Wayne and Yang Yakov and a lot of the CIS players, they only really embrace the map, or embrace this game mode, at the start of the year. So it's been a couple of months. It's been a couple of months since they've been competing, as opposed to some of these Koreans that have been competing for a year, if not over a year at this point, and they have caught up quite quickly. And we'll see how he compares. First things first, welcome to Troy. Welcome to a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom left, bottom right, top right, and top left as well. But there is a bit of an asterisk to that. It is a four-player spawn map, but we had a recent patch which did actually change that a little bit. Now, specifically on 4-player spawn maps, this is not applicable to 3-player spawn maps, but on 4-player spawn maps, now whenever you load into the game, you do get pings notifying you 2 possible spawn locations. Basically, if we're the SCC, for example, for him it was pinged bottom left and bottom right, not pinged at top right. Because of that, basically when you spawn into a 4-player spawn map now, at least in StarCraft Evolution, it eliminates a possibility. It eliminates a possible spawn location, ensuring you that, hey, no one is there. So the SCC, he knew that no one was top right, so he scouted bottom left first, confirmed that Wayne wasn't there, and then scouted bottom right as well. So it does remove a little bit of the RNG, does make it a little bit easier to scout. That's what it's for, basically. So you get faster scouting early on. Because otherwise there are certain times, of course, where your opponent could be cheesing and it takes you, and then you just roll the dice, you scout it at the very end, you scout it late, and then that could be game. That could be game then and there. So again, it is a way to alleviate that, and so far, standard opener. Hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Wayne. Likewise, the SCC going for a Stargate opener. Okay, Stargate openers are a rare sight, but they have been having a bit of an uptick in popularity. The reason for this is because there was a recent patch that also buffed the Scout. The Scout, of course, is an air unit that is known for its anti-air attack. It can do quite well when it comes on hunting down overlords and at fighting head-on against air-based units, but its anti-ground attack, fun fact, was even weaker than the Sentry attack, than the Sentry auto attack. So it was really weak, and what that meant was, if you open Stargate and if you're up against an all-in, if there was like a roach all-in basically, or a queen walk, basically like a German taxi, Scouts do nothing. Like, Scouts, they would kill you. Like, they just would not help. So there was a patch that was introduced that does increase the damage of the Scout's anti-ground attack. So now it's a little bit better. It's still relatively weak. For some context, the Scout does 3-shot workers, as opposed to like a Banshee that 2-shots workers, for example, or an Oracle that 2-shots workers, right? So the Scout still does less anti-ground damage, but it's better than it once was. So it has a little bit more utility. It's a little bit safer to open Stargate. It's a little bit safer. Behind this, interesting. So Stargate opener opening up Scout into what? Into a hidden Forge and Citadel of Adun. And this is going to be for charge. Citadel of Adun is almost like the Twilight Council. I say almost because the only upgrade that this allows for is, or the only real important upgrade that we can talk about right now is Zealot Legs, right? Is to get those speed lots up and running. I say speed lots just because they're not charge lots. They don't have charge. It's faster. So speed lot's going to be on the horizon. This also does grant access to the Temple Archives as a text structure. True. Does grant access. Meanwhile, we're rushing into a very fast layer. Oh my god, okay, there's a lot going on. The Scout is revealed, the Scout does go for the dive, and the Scout will focus down the first Overlord. Nice pickup. Overlord does go down. Ideally supply blocking Wayne, hunting for more Overlords. At the same time, though, again, insanely fast layer, and the STC does Scout. Does Scout does confirm. Again, this is what, a 4? No, this was like a 350-ish layer timing, so really fast layer here by Wayne. And the question becomes, what's this for? Are we going for a Nidus? Are we rushing to Roach Speed? Are we going for an all-in? Ooh, as a second Overlord does fall. More Scouts on the way. Behind this, the Citadel is done. We should be working towards Zealot Lake soon. And from the side of Wayne, what is this for? There it is. Okay, so it's going to be really fast layer into a Hydra Den. Roach Speed is on the way, so it's very tech heavy. So we're not rushing into a Nidus all-in. We're not rushing into like Overlord Speed and a German Taxi. We are taking up a little bit further. There's so much to talk about. So another thing as well, for those that maybe haven't watched this game mode, this is a ported map from Brood War, and these are, of course, neutral assimilators. And the way this works as well, which might come into play, is that if you destroy these assimilators, they're replaced with permanent rocks. They're replaced with rocks, and if you destroy both these assimilators, bam, this area fully walls off as well. Same here as well. So basically at a bunch of spawn locations, you can fully wall these areas off. And that can be effective defensively and offensively as well. Basically what we've seen as the Scouts, again, remember, 3 Scouts, they one-shot. Or it takes 3 shots to kill a worker, so 3 Scouts, they will one-shot drones. So that it's kind of like the magic number you're looking for to harass is 3 Scouts. So if the Spore does reposition, the Queen likewise as well. Oh! 1 drone does barely knock it away. Is hunted down. Hydras are amassing as we speak. What I was getting at, though, that we have seen in the past is, for example, Terran players going for Doom drops, and a Terran player, they can go for a Doom drop, they can go straight here for in between these bases, they can focus on the gas geysers, and then bam, you're walled off. You're walled out. You're walled out of the base, and then the Terran can just go ham here when it comes to sniping an expansion and getting a mineral line and getting all the tech. So we have seen players use this, you know, to harass and to punish a player, of course, and to break them. Otherwise, against Ducklings, for example, in ZvP from the side of the STC, if he wanted to, he could intentionally destroy these assimilators, expand, and then he'd be safe against Duckling run-bys, and Hydra run-bys, and Roach run-bys, and just all things Zerg except for drop play and mutants, for example, which aren't too common. So you can wall this area off just so you have a secure base as well, so it works both ways. Meanwhile, Wayne, he's not droning. If you notice, he's not droning. He's not droning, he's not saturating. He gets up to 43 workers, 2 base all in. 2 base all in here from Wayne. You can see he's undersaturated here at the natural, so basically fake saturation at the 3rd, and he's rallying everything across the map, Hydras and Roaches alike. When it comes to upgrades, we have Hydra speed, we have Roach speed. Let's go. He is going to be rallying. And back at home, the STC, I mean, he will have Zealot legs. You can see leg enhancements is about to finish up. Yo, we're waddling out. Let's go. We're power walking. At the same time, there is a DT in the mix. No detection, not currently. Oh, free damage. Not bad. Nicely done. Yeah, DTs are getting a couple swipes in. We have Overlord Speed on the way. We have Overseers morphing in as well. This does delay the all-in. Nicely done. DTs, they buy some time. Now is not the time to harass. Like, these Zealots, they're going out to harass. Remember, there's no drones. There's nothing to kill. They're diving on top of the Roaches. At least trying to. Queen is going to go down. And we'll see if the STC can buy some more time. Yeah, these Zealots are going to be cleaned up. Nice defense by Wayne. Oh, they're speedy boys. Did you get past? Did you actually rush past? They headed towards it to catch some of the production. Hydra's Zergling is going to be going down, but Wayne, he doesn't stop. He does not stop. But what is it to defend? Storm is halfway done. Yeah, Storm is not ready. Storm is barely not ready in time. There's a cannon, there's a shield battery. But last Zealots, they just melt, and Wayne, he's moving in for the kill. Zealots, they are catching quite a lot of reinforcements, actually. Not bad. They're catching individual Urshids, individual Zerglings. They're delaying the reinforcements, but it does not matter. Yeah, the all-in has arrived. The STC was just not ready for this. Storm is just barely not done in time. Storm done in 12 seconds. And with that, Wayne, he just stutter steps in. He just stutter steps in, breaks the expansion. And Storm could shut this down, but the base falls. Like, the damage has been done. Breaks down the expansion. Storm does connect. Oh, God. Storm does connect. Storm does zone. And again, Storm does hit very different here in Brood War. And I love the animation. It's like, show us all the last. No. Oh, the last man. And nice spread here. Once again, the storm towards the roaches. Nice spread by Wayne. Does avoid splash damage. Star steps in, and Wayne, he will clean up. He will just clean up. He'll rally everything across the map. Yes, he was stifled. He was delayed, but in the end, the all-in hit too hard. And again, the STC going to charge like this is not ideal. The problem with charge, or I should say zealots defensively, is that zealots are one and done. They're not very efficient. They're not as efficient as dragoons, right? They don't build up over time. There's no reavers either. The reason why is because the STC wasn't expecting an all-in. He wasn't ready for this, didn't scout this. Now researching Maelstrom. Maelstrom plus Storm, that could be amazing in the mid-game, but yeah, the game is soon to end. For those who are curious, Maelstrom is a spell for the Dark Archon. Dark Archons are a factor in this game. They're not existent in SC2, unfortunately. Going for the Condemnation. But Maelstrom is a stun. It's an AoE stun, so you can like stun the army and then bam, Storm, right? It's almost like a fungal powerbomb combo that you would get, or I should say, yeah, I guess like a fungal powerbomb combo for air units in SC2. But here it's, for everything. The one downside, or the one limitation, and there are a lot of limitations when it comes to certain spells and certain abilities in Brood War, that is that Maelstrom only works on biological units. So you cannot Maelstrom mech, which some of the players found out the hard way. If you remember, we casted, I think it was Dark versus Bjorn a couple of weeks ago, and Dark, he plays random when he's playing Brood War. He doesn't play Zerg. He plays random, and he landed on Protoss, and he was up against Bjorn that was playing mech, and then he came in with a bunch of Dark Archons. He was like, bam, he did the Maelstrom, and it did nothing, and he was like spamming question marks in the chat. He was like, what? So, important to note that, again, only works against biological. But Dark was very confused. I mean, the game is bugged. What's happening? From here, Wayne does break through. A little bit safer. And building scouts will kill you. I mean, again, scouts, there's still struggle when it comes to these all-ins. But on top of that, this came down to scouting, right? As a reminder, even though the scouts were harassing somewhat, the STC didn't recognize that there was lack of saturation, lack of droning, that an all-in was coming his way. Based on the setup that the STC had, by no means was he getting ready for an all-in. So this came down to scouting, came down to reactions. As Wayne does collapse in. Again, this is kind of the final army here, the STC. Bleeds out the High Templar. I love the visual here of the Archon as well. But GG gets called, and Wayne takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Remember, he had fake drones at the third. We spoke about it, but Wayne, he was undersaturated at the natural, so he rallied workers over to make it look like he was droning when really he wasn't, and he committed to that all-in. What I will say, though, is that the STC did see the early lair, and that was a sign, right? That was a sign that something weird was going on. Something was a little bit off there, and unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to recognize that. I did like his Zealot counterattacks, like for the STC to peel off some Zealots and to get behind the army and to catch reinforcements and to hit the bases. I think that was a good move. Unfortunately, back at home, he didn't really have much to work with. He had one cannon, one shield battery, and again, as we were trying to mention, Zealots like that or speed lots defensively are not ideal because they're one and done, right? Like once they engage, they go down, they die. You're not very efficient with that kind of army. They really persist over time and build up over time, like Dragoons would, for example. Likewise, like a robot follow-up and like Reavers would as well. But with that, GG. With that, GG, well played. With that, Wayne does claim a lead in the series, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping into game 2. As we're getting into the next game. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon, we have, oh, let's go, playing his main race. We have the South Korean Terran player. Again, he was once and always will be Terran, of course, but for Brood War, he was playing Protoss. Here he is playing his main race. It is the STC. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg. Ooh, leading the series 1-0. It is Wayne. Go. The STC setting up on the low ground. Bold move here. Bold move by the STC. I'm going for a bit of a special build instead. Setting up here with maybe 2 Rax Reaper or a Rax Factory Expand. Regardless, we'll be rolling up here early on. Meanwhile, ooh, gas pool. Aggressive build, gas pool opening here by Wayne. Wayne is going to be rushing into Zergling speed real fast and real quick and going for a Link Flood. I assume that technically we could be rushing into gases and rushing into a faster lair and going for a lair-based all-in instead by going into Hydras. And I mean, Hydras don't even require lair tech. Sorry, we could use this gas to go for a fast Hydra, for a Hydra-based all-in. There is a build in ZvT and StarCraft Evolution where you rush into a fast lair, you rush into Hydra, you rush into Lurkers, and you go for a 2-base Lurker all-in. Sue was very fond of that. And I think we've seen 3-point dabble in it a little bit as well. For now, though. Appreciate the new texture, the new assets of the Gas Geyser. Again, it's from my understanding that the goal of Team Gripurlu is to have custom textures and custom assets for every single building and every single unit. To, of course, distinguish them from their StarCraft 2 counterpart. So even the Overlord is different. The Overlord is new. Zergling as well. Yo, we got the bipedal Zerglings. Let's go. They're like raptors. I love it. Beautiful. As, of course, we are, again, rushing into link speed. Remember, we're rushing into link speed. Oh, we're actually staying in gas. We're staying in gas as well. Regardless, hyper-aggressive build here from Wayne is rushing across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, the SSC does fully wall off. It looks like it was a Rax expand into Factory here, but does have a full wall, and he should be safe and sound. These Zerglings, they should not be able to break through. They should not be able to delay the CC. And I was curious, what is all that gas for? Not for Hydras, it is for the fast lair. Okay, so technically this could still be that build that I mentioned, how there is a 2-base Lurker all-in that you can go for, so we could go for the Hydra into Lurkers, or this should be 2-base Muta. Bearing in mind that Hydras are not lair-based, so that's why I bring up Lurkers specifically, otherwise we just rush into Aspire and rush into Muta. So very aggressive, very tech-heavy here by Wayne. Alright, so when it comes to the map pool for StarCraft Evolution, again, for those that may be tuning in for the first time, it does feature a mixture of some current modern SE2 ladder maps and, of course, some Brood War ported maps as well. So we had a Brood War map in Game 1, here we have an SE2 map in Game 2, and bam, there it is, 2-base Muta. 2-base Muta out of Wayne, and the SSC would be aware of this if there was any scouting. He went for an SCV scout earlier, but here, remember, he skipped the Reaper. There was no Reaper scout, so he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't care, he's going for a Hellbat all-in. Okay, we're rushing into the armory, rushing into Hellbats. No reactor on the factory, though. So typically when you go for this build, you go for an add-on swap, you reactor add Hellions, so you have up to like 6 to 8 Hellions with this push, and then that makes the armory worth it. But here, there's no add-on swap. There's no add-on swap, so how many Hellions are there? Only 3. Like a very low Hellion count. Meanwhile, we have some Swine Crawlers, or sorry, some Sunken Colonies already ready for this. The Colonies are done. Remember, there's no Queens. Like, Queens, they're a very different kind of unit in Brood War, so you need those Sunken Colonies to defend. And they're also here because Wayne is being greedy, right? Because he's preserving his resources for Mutas. And here we go. Hellbats move in. And again, there's only 3 of them. Zerglings, they try to come in from behind. They collapse on the Marines. Yeah, they try to collapse in. The first colony is going to go down. Takes down 1. Takes down 2. And we need more Zerglings. We need more Zerglings here. Yeah, the natural base is evacuated. Wayne, he does pull the hell away. Natural's going to be broken. Zerglings, they catch reinforcements. Not bad. Yeah, they're catching reinforcements. The SSC pushing up the ramp. Mutas are on the way, and can Wayne pull off a defense here? There's still 3, soon to be 4 Hellbats. This is getting quite close. Ooh, takes down the Muta. Yeah, takes down the Muta. The boys are being pulled, but the Hellbats, they stand strong. They stand strong. I was concerned that there won't be enough Hellbats, but it looks like there are more than enough. 4 Hellbats. I mean, oh my god, they just roast up the middle line. 22 drone kills. And Mutas, they do nothing. They eventually clean everything up, but the hell, oh god, he chases down the drones. 27 drone kills. Yo, it's like Heart of the Swarm. Unironically, hey, that's when the SSC retired. True. Did play in Heart of the Swarm, did retire in Heart of the Swarm, and now we're back. We're back with the Hellbat drops. GG gets called. Wayne, he gets punished for the attempted 2-base Muta, and the SCC ties up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Wayne cutting a lot of corners and attempting to rush into Muta play. Very greedy play there by Wayne, and was punished for that greed. I was a little bit concerned that there wouldn't be enough firepower, no pun intended, behind the SSC's push, but no, it hit just in time. And again, there were only 2 sunken colonies. I was a little bit concerned by the strength of that push, but at the same time, Wayne didn't scout. He didn't realize it was a Hellbat all-in. I don't blame him because he didn't see the reactor in the factory, so he probably just assumed it was a standard opener, so he thought it was safe. If he was aware of the armory, if he was aware of the all-in, of the timing that was coming, then we would have seen extra sunken colonies. You know, a 3rd, 4th, 5th sunken colony. Without them, there is no defense. There is no defense. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into game number 3. We're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Game 3 is going to be on Sylphid. We go. Hellbats on. Yeah, I mean, that was a really good read from the SCC. Like, again, like when you're going into 2-base Muta, you're cutting so many corners to get away with the fast Muta play, of course. And that meant, of course, that Wayne was vulnerable. He was exposed. Again, the one chance he would have had if he saw it coming would be to fully wall up with extra spine crawlers or with extra sunken colonies. But alas, GG, well played. And now we're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Sylphid, we have the Brood War Protoss player once again, the Korean Protoss. It is the STC. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player, the SC2 Zerg, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Wayne. Oh, hello. As Wayne is opening up hatch first, but also sending out the drone across the map to scout as quickly as possible. Interesting. You don't often see players prioritize scouting this much, but welcome to Sylphid. Sylphid is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in right side, left side, or top side. So 3 possible spawn locations. Overlord is going towards the top side, drone towards the left-hand side as well. And Wayne will find the expansion. He will find his opponent. And yeah, there we go. Does go for the hatch block. This is really lucky, actually. Like, if the SSC had spawned in towards the top side, then this would have just been a waste for Wayne. But he gambles well, and bam! Hatch block. Pulls it off. Let's go. That was risky. That was a big gamble there from Wayne. It does pay off in the end. With that, he will hatch block. Now remember, there's no intention to let this finish. It's all about dealing economic damage. It's all about delaying the expansion and delaying the economy of the STC. So boys are being pulled as Zelda's forced out. And the STC's base is going to be delayed. At the same time, Wayne, oh sorry, he does probe scout. It does find Wayne. As we're getting stuck on the egg. There we go. On the cocoon. And we're going for a Robo opener. This is more standard. I should emphasize that the Stargate opener into Zealot legs is a little bit more of a niche build that we saw in game 1. Here, Robo opener into a Bay into Reaver drop is much more standard. Much more standard. And the drone scout did not spot the tech, did not see the Robo. So Wayne is in the dark. Wayne, he has played against this before, of course, Robo opener into Reavers, but he has to confirm what exactly is going on. So the Overlord does poke in. The SSC forced to make use of this army. Again, he was forced to make extra gateway units early on. Oh, that's Zelda power walking across. Let's go. They're walking with purpose. Ah, beautiful. As we have the shuttle in the way, we're waiting for the Bay. waiting for the Reaver. Where's the Bay, by the way? As Ducklings, they do get us around. They will shut down the initial Zealots. And the Bay should have been done by now. Yeah, this is late, so a bit of a shaky build here from the STC. It's a little bit shaky. Delayed Bay. And we'll eventually work towards the Reaver. It looks like the STC was a little bit distracted by his own harass across the map. Building up his Dragoons. With the help of the shuttle, he can shut down the Overlord, but he has to make a choice, right? And he will reveal his hand, will reveal the shuttle. Shuttle is revealed. The Zerglings, they can surround and punish the Dragoon. Oh my god! Does get us around! Yeah, it does pull off the surround. A massive pickup, takes down the Dragoon, saves the Overlord. Oh my god, never mind. Saves the Dragoon. Oh no! Does save it. Does pull away. Behind this here comes the Reaver. Aha. Let's go. And here comes shuttle speed as well. So shuttle speed and a Reaver production. Oh, snaps the Overlord. Nicely done. Nice control there from the STC. Shield battery is done. And we'll soon move out. Just gearing up. Now, because the shuttle was revealed, Wayne knows. Like, Wayne, he's fully aware that Reavers are coming. You can see he's on patrol. He's ready for the Reaver drop. Lings are in position. A Hydrogen behind this, going for a Hydro base all-in. Sorry, Hydro base follow-up makes a lot of sense to get that anti-air to zone away the shuttle. But now Wayne, he's been droning, saturating. More so than in game 1. He's actually droning up. Reaver moves in, Lings are in position, and the Reaver is going to be denied. I believe the Reaver can two-shot the Queen. Oh. As takes out all the Zerglings, nicely done. Yeah, Scrap Shot goes off. Reaver headed for the mineral line. And again, I believe, yeah, can two-shot. So can two-shot the Queen. First Queen goes down. Rotates over towards that mineral line, and Wayne should pull away here. Yep, does pull away. 2 drone kills. Going for the eggs. Back at home, building up on 2 bases. And Wayne, he does end up droning up to 51. Getting up to 2.5 base economy. Building up his Zing Hydra, ensuring that he is safe, ensuring that he's secure. Meanwhile, the SSC does go back home to load up another Reaver. Oh, and we're going into Muta play. Okay, bold move. It's very gas intensive as Wayne does open Hydra, then into Muta. So working towards Mutas. I mean, that would be a secure way to shut down the shuttle. It's a ways away. Shuttle moves in. And, oh, does get 1 shot off. Going for the Hydras. Nice splits. Very nice last second split there from Wayne. Does pull away. Oh my god. Catching the Hydra. As you can see, like, whenever a unit is targeted by the Reaver, there is an effect. It does show, so you can micro against it. Whereas Lings, they just rush into the... Oh my god, rush into the Reavers. Shuttle takes a lot of hits. Has to get the hell out of here. A very expensive shuttle for the STC. Has to pull away. And behind this, where's the third? Where is the third base? I mean, Wayne is also checking. He's checking for the third. STC is stuck on 2 bases. And it looks like... Oh, Dragoon is stuck. No, the Dragoon is trapped. But it looks like a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in. How many gateways so far? 8. So 2-base, 8-gate all-in out of the STC. The Reavers did survive. The shuttle is low on HP. But now we're going out with mass Dragoon. Let's go. There's no upgrade. No shot. There's no Dragoon range. He never researched. Not like he never researched Dragoon upgrades, so yeah, a bit of an awkward all in here. This means they have less range than normal. He's moving out. As he moves out, we have a Ling run by being set up. Likewise, Mutas are in production. They won't help too much against this. But yeah, these Dragoons, they're weaker than they otherwise should be. Lings coming from behind. The door is open. And Lings, they're flooding in. Yeah, they flood into the natural. The hero! As there's no wall, the boys are going down. We're going for the base trade. It's all or nothing. As the natural is broken for both players. Muta's also rallying across the map. And remember, Wayne, he can still escape with some drones, and he does. Yeah, Yeah, he moves out with a couple of workers. Oh no, the shuttle. Oh my god. Reaver shot's going up, but the shuttle is, oh, it should go down. Up, up. Oh my god, yeah, barely will fall. Yeah, the Reavers, the shuttle, the everything. And the STC just doesn't really have much of him to defend. He's down to 1 Dragoon. Down to 0. So 0 Dragoons left. There's the Reaver in the middle line. That's what the mutas are for, true. They dive on the Reaver. And the STC cannot win this base trade. Like, the problem here is that drones are escaping. Drones are escaping. There's already a ninja base. Already in the hatchery. Depowers everything. Yeah, and I believe there are no workers out on the map. There's Dragoons, and only Dragoons out on the map here. Oh no! The probe attempts. He tries to get away. He tries to escape. He gets caught. Oof, yeah, there is no escape. And now there are 0 workers left. 0 probes. With that, Wayne will overwhelm. And we have more bases. We have just more hatcheries. Why not? Just spreading out more expansions. And I mean, the STC did kill everything eventually, but he also knows the drones escaped. He knows that there are bases somewhere out there. He's racing back home. He has 12 Dragoons. And with that, he should lose everything here back at home. Dragoons, they race back. Hey, gets a muta. Does get a muta. But he's up against 17 mutas. That's a lot of mutas. And Dragoons are walling in. They do waddle in, but they cannot fight this head on. Not like this. Yeah, mutas, they just dive in. They just go for the dive. They can just target this down. Gets 1, 2, 3 Dragoons, 4. Oh god, the glaive shots are brutal. And there's no escaping this. Yeah, we'll focus on every single Dragoon. Down to 2, down to 1, down to 0. GG gets called, and Wayne will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here, Wayne. He will claim the series. He will advance on. Shout out to the STC. Again, he was able to make a series out of it. But of course, his Protoss is he's still working on it. He's still working on it. Again, the STC, his main race is Terran, and I've seen his brutal Terran. Like, his brutal Terran is solid. Like, he's definitely a solid player. But it does look like he wants to try to dabble in Protoss, and still has some kinks to iron out, really. Again, it was a little bit brutal to see the attempted 2-base all-in without Dragoon range. I mean, despite that, Wayne, he was built for a base trade because of the faster army with Zerglings and mutas as well, so we're going to end up in a base trade regardless. Definitely could argue that maybe the SEC would have been in a better position with those upgraded Dragoons, but it still would have been rough. It still would have been a rough place to be in, a rough position for the Protoss. GG. GG, well played. With that, Wayne, he will claim the series, and now we are making our way over to the rest of the quarterfinals. Oh boy, and I do not know what to expect. I just don't know how much time and effort and how well versed Tasia is in Brood War. I don't know. It's StarCraft Evolution. We're about to find out.